Yumma, Jack here with a whole new term of BTN. I hope you had a great break. Let's see what's coming up. We look at Australia's new internet searching rules, find out about Australia's latest World Heritage Site, and learn about the quest to resurrect the Moa. But first, we're going to take a look at a big military exercise that's happening in Australia right now. It's called Talisman Sabre, and it involves thousands of defence workers from around the world. But it's also drawing attention to some big questions around the future of Australia's military. Take a look.
On the ground, in the air, and on the water.
You're going to see an increase in military vehicle traffic in and around the roads in Darwin and Katherine, but citizens shouldn't be alarmed.
So what's this for exactly?
Welcome to Exercise Talisman Sabre 2025.
It's a joint military exercise that's run by Australia and the US every couple of years.
It's an honour to join you.
And this year, it's the biggest it's ever been, with 30,000 military personnel from 19 nations taking part. That's all about
Operating together, training and rehearsing our warfighting.
It's also a chance to show off our high-tech weapons and build relationships with our neighbours. But organising exercises like this and keeping our forces in tip-top shape doesn't come cheap. At the moment, Australia spends around $56 billion a year on defence. That pays for things like weapons, vehicles, machinery, and paying wages for people working in defence. And the government says it's planning to spend even more.
$57 billion over 10 years. We are increasing our defence spending and investment by more than $10 billion.
That might sound like a lot, and it is, but it's still only about 2.3% of our GDP, or gross domestic product, which is basically the value of everything the country produces in a year. Meanwhile, the US spends almost $1.5 trillion, which is about 3.4% of its GDP. All of that money has helped to make America's defence force one of the most, if not the most powerful in the world. It's why, since the end of the Second World War, Australia has relied on its alliance with the US, knowing that if we need help, America would be there. And it's not just Australia. Lots of other countries have military alliances with the US that they rely on to keep them safe. But recently, US President Donald Trump has questioned whether or not that's fair.
If you're not going to pay your bills, we're not going to defend you.
He's pressured European allies to increase their defence spending.
This week, the NATO allies committed to dramatically increase their defense spending to that 5% of GDP. This is a big win for Europe and for actually Western civilization.
His government has also asked Australia to up its defence spending to 3.5% of GDP.
Long-standing, incredibly important partnership with our friends in Australia.
That would be $40 billion extra a year. So a lot. Our Prime Minister wasn't exactly on board.
We're a sovereign nation. We determine our defence policy here.
But some say we do need to have a serious think on defence spending. Right now, more countries are fighting each other than at any point since the Second World War. We've got growing tensions between the world's superpowers, and our most powerful ally wants to put
America first. America first. America first.
We're also seeing some big changes in the way technology is used to fight wars. For now, our military says our alliance with the US is going strong.
The reason we're here today is our commitment to our alliance with Australia, our commitment to the region.
As our soldiers continue to show off the best they've got.
What big change is the UK making to its electoral system? Is it introducing compulsory voting, lowering the voting age to 16, or making elections every 3 years instead of 5? It's lowering the voting age to 16. It means around 1.6 million young Brits will be able to vote at the next election.
I think we deserve that responsibility as we're more aware about what's going on in the world.
I'm happy about it because it's always really annoying watching older people vote but it's not going to affect them, it's going to affect our futures.
But we're very, very unhappy with them, and we're going to be doing very severe tariffs if we don't have a deal in 50 days.
Which country was US President Donald Trump talking about? China, Russia, or Israel?
We are very unhappy, I am, with Russia.
Mr. Trump wants the Russian President Vladimir Putin to agree to a peace deal with Ukraine. He's agreed to sell billions of dollars worth of weapons to NATO countries, which they'll give to Ukraine to help it fight Russia. Which Aussie state had an election on the weekend? It was Tasmania. It's actually their second state election in 2 years, and it happened because Parliament passed a no-confidence motion against the Premier, Jeremy Rockcliffe, meaning he didn't have enough support to govern.
The people of Tasmania, in return, have said that they have no confidence in the Labor Party to form government.
Mr. Rockcliffe declared victory, but no party actually won enough seats to govern on its own, which means they'll need to negotiate with independents and minor parties. And do you know what's happening here on the River Thames? Is it a swan census, a boat race, or a historic bridge inspection? It's a swan census.
It's called swan upping because we go up the river and we up the swans out of the water.
The official swan count is a ceremony that's been going on since the 12th century. Basically, all unmarked swans on the Thames are the property of the king. And to make sure no one was pinching them for dinner, officials would do a swan head count.
But today, it's all about conservation and education.
Recently, Australia became the first country in the world to make internet search providers check your age when you log in. The new rules are designed to make sure kids aren't seeing harmful stuff online. But will they work? Tatenda found out more.
I feel like on Google, I just look up like whatever comes to my mind. Like if I'm like curious about something, I'll search it up and like see if there's an answer for it.
ChatGPT. That's what I search for. Sometimes I go online shopping on Google and then also like to help me with my homework and stuff.
Yeah, for a lot of us, it's kind of hard to imagine a world without search engines. But along with all that useful information, entertainment, recipes, and the name of that one annoyingly catchy song you heard at the shops but couldn't memorize all the lyrics to, there's also some stuff that you probably shouldn't be seeing.
Just like there's sometimes weird ads and stuff.
Just like naked people. I'm not gonna lie. It's like everything's out there, which is too much exposure.
Too much exposure, yeah.
It's been a lot of inappropriate things sometimes.
That's why from December, search engines run by companies like Google and Microsoft will have to check the ages of anyone who logs in. It's among a whole heap of changes being introduced under the Online Safety Act.
Very few of these technologies and platforms were created with children in mind or with safety as a primary goal.
If you're under 18, search results will filter out things that are inappropriate, like gambling, violence, or other stuff that's not meant for kids. And the e-safety commissioners making the industry itself come up with the solutions. So how exactly are they going to guess your age? Well, the government has given them a few options. For example, they might check other forms of ID, like credit cards or licenses. They might get your parents to give permission. They might rely on other platforms that have already checked your age. Or they might use technology that uses your face to guess your age. But as these guys found out recently when they tried out some face scanning software, it doesn't always work.
I'm getting, 23, upwards of 23.
I just scrunched my face up and looked all angry like this. And the thing gave me 41 years old.
Went from 15 to 14 to 13. Getting younger by the minute.
These are the type of things tech companies will use to check your age once the government social media ban comes into effect later this year. So the clock's ticking to figure out what works. Although some people think nothing will be totally effective.
But at the end of the day, where there's a will, there's a way. People can definitely still access this content by not logging into an account. They could also use a VPN to get around it by pretending to not be in Australia, for example.
There are also some concerns that these new rules will risk people's privacy. Companies will need to store all that data, and that can make them a target for cyber attacks. And some people think it's more important to teach young people how to use the internet responsibly, instead of shielding them from parts of it. So, what do you think?
There's some things that are on the internet that people my age shouldn't really see, and I think that age verification is a good way to stop that.
I know kids that don't really use it for what they're really meant to. So yeah, I think the filtering should happen.
As a child, I grew up and I could choose what I was exposed to a certain degree, whereas now that choice is taken away. So yeah, I think it's important.
It's really hard to shelter anyone from what the world is.
Education and educating your child is the main thing, but also those restrictions being put in place is definitely a good add-on to that.
Do you know what the most searched for word is? Weather, YouTube, or Google? It's YouTube. More than 1 billion people type it into Google's search bar every month. Now to Australia's brand new World Heritage Site. And when I say new, I mean incredibly ancient. The rock art at Murujuga in Western Australia is up to 50,000 years old, and it's now joined the likes of Stonehenge and the pyramids on a very special list. On the northwest coast of Western Australia, you'll find the Murujuga cultural landscape, home to the biggest and most diverse collections of rock art engravings in the world, some of which date back more than 50,000 years, and include carvings of extinct species and the earliest depiction of the human face.
That tell the story of our ancestors and what they've done over tens of thousands of years.
That's why at a meeting in Paris, the United Nations Heritage Committee decided to add this sacred site to the World Heritage List.
Let me congratulate Australia on behalf of the entire committee.
We have all come here together and from far away, from the Murujuga lands. This has been a long-awaited journey and a fight for our elders, our Gurambara, our old people, and we are thankful to receive this recognition from a global scale. Thank you, everyone.
We were very, very happy that, that word probably can't describe it, to the full extent of it.
Murujuga, along with 25 other sites from around the world, will now join a long list of famous sites, like the Taj Mahal in India, the Pyramids of Giza in Egypt, Stonehenge in the UK, Machu Picchu in Peru, and the Great Wall of China in, China. The United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, or UNESCO, started the World Heritage List in 1978 as a way to protect sites that had outstanding universal value to humanity. Today, the list includes 1,248 sites from 170 countries. Here in Australia, we have 21 on the list, including the Sydney Opera House, Uluru Kata Tjuta National Park, the Blue Mountains, the Great Barrier Reef, and now Murujuga.
They depict animals?
Being heritage listed is a big honour and helps to boost tourism. But it also means governments are put under more pressure to protect sites and have to regularly report to UNESCO. So traditional owners are hoping the heritage listing helps to keep Murujuga safe. They say nearby mining and gas projects could cause damage and erosion to the rock art.
You cannot have industry and culture coexist.
In the end, what persuaded the committee was both the scientific evidence that was put forward, but also the genuine passion from the traditional owners to see this World Heritage listing be secured.
They're hoping that by showing the world how special this site is, they can make sure it's still there for future generations.
We start a new journey or a new story we created in the rocks today, and we will continue to manage culture and country as our ancestors have already done or have done prior to or previous to us.
This is a testament to the true dedication and commitment, our resilience of Aboriginal people. Thank you all.
Which of these Australian sites has been on the World Heritage List for the longest? Uluru, Kakadu National Park, or the Melbourne Royal Exhibition Building? It's Kakadu National Park. It was one of 3 Australian sites to make the list in 1981, along with Willandra Lakes and the Great Barrier Reef. Now, have you ever seen one of these? It's a moa, and you probably haven't because they've been extinct for hundreds of years. But an American bioscience company wants to bring them back. And so does Peter Jackson. Here's Justina.
Some things that should not have been forgotten were lost. History became legend. Legend became myth. And for 500 years, the moa passed out of all knowledge until...
What is that? It looks like an emu.
I think it's a moa.
Yeah, meet the moa. It's an up to 3.5 metre wingless bird that once roamed the plains of New Zealand. Moa disappeared around 500 years ago, possibly because of human hunters. But now, an American biotech company says they can bring them back.
The process of de-extinction is that we extract DNA from ancient bones and we sequence that DNA and assemble ancient genomes.
DNA is like a blueprint that exists inside the cells of all living things, determining how they look and act. Sometimes you can also find DNA preserved in dead things.
We'll be comparing the genome sequences to genomes of living birds to identify what it is that made Moa unique, and using the tools of genome editing to make those changes in the DNA sequence of the living close relatives.
And it's got a lot of Moa fans excited, especially the Lord of the Rings director, Peter Jackson, who's invested around $23 million for the project.
It's giving me more enjoyment and satisfaction than any films ever have.
Colossal Biosciences is using similar techniques to try and bring back other species, like the woolly mammoth and Tassie tiger. Then there were these guys, which Colossal Biosciences claimed were the first direwolves to be born in more than 10,000 years, although some were sceptical.
The claim that they have created the dire wolf is just simply rubbish. They've put a few, dire wolf genes to create a big white dog.
Yeah, some scientists say they're not really creating an extinct animal. Instead, they're just making existing species look more like their long-lost relatives.
Scientists can create genetically engineered animals, but we're definitely not at the point of bringing back a 100% genetically engineered emu to look genetically identical to a moa.
There are also some people who say it's not right to try and bring back extinct species. For starters, keeping these new creatures alive takes specialised knowledge and a lot of money. Plus, some reckon all this effort could be better spent protecting species that are still alive.
Do not be so eager to deal out de-extinction, for even the very wise cannot see all ends.
Yes, thank you, Gandalf. Others say we should bring back species that we helped send into extinction. And thanks to things like climate change and habitat loss, species extinctions are happening faster than ever. Some reckon it might be good to have a backup plan. And let's face it, seeing a moa in the flesh could be kind of cool.
Yeah, and it's uniquely a New Zealand bird, so we're something that we've always been very fascinated with.
In any case, Colossal says it'll be about 5 to 10 years before we see any moa hatching. Until then, these amazing creatures will remain a fantasy.
Hang on. That's definitely an emu. I don't think we're in New Zealand anymore.
Australia win their first ever Asia Cup championship!
Yep, the Opals have done it, winning the 2025 championship in China. While they led at every break, Japan narrowed the lead to 8 points at the final change. But the Opals came back strong.
That's a big start to the form from Easy Board!
Japan levelled the scores twice. But it wasn't enough to stop the Aussies, who won 88 to 79 and locked in a ticket to next year's World Cup in Berlin. Now to the Tour de France. In the 15th stage of this 3,000-kilometre race, Tim Wellens finished in front. But Julian Alaphilippe in third place hadn't noticed.
And he doesn't think he's won, surely not. Tell me somebody's told him.
He did think he'd won, but still took it like a champion.
You have to take it on a funny way, you know, like it's part of the game.
And Australia has taken out the Frank Worrell Trophy and sealed the deal in an eventful third test. They knocked over the West Indies for just 27, the second lowest test innings total ever. Mitchell Starc became the fastest player to take 5 wickets in an innings.
400 test match wickets for Mitchell Starc.
And Scott Boland became the first Aussie in 15 years to take a test hat-trick.
Now, if you're from the bush, you'll know there are a lot of great things about growing up away from the city. But there are also some downsides, especially if you need a lot of medical care. Winnie and Raffy are going to tell you how a medical flight charity has helped their family.
My name is Winnie Milson and I am 9 years old. I live in New South Wales, Coonabarabran. Yeah.
I'm Raffy, I'm 15 from Coonabarabran, and yeah.
Winnie and Raffy are siblings. And as you heard, home for them is here in Coonabarabran. It's a rural town in New South Wales, and fewer than 3,500 people live here.
I'll describe my town. It's fairly good, but it doesn't have much in it. But yeah, I could live here for the rest of my life.
Living in a small country town, nearly everyone knows you, so, you know, always, every time you think you're going to go downtown for like 10 minutes, it ends up going half an hour because you're talking to nearly every person you see.
Hi, how you going?
But while living in a small town might mean you're closer to your community, it's common to be far from other things.
Some of the harder aspects living here is, I suppose, medical facilities, schooling, and especially with farming, that if you want a part or something like that, you've got to drive. More than likely, you've got to drive a few hours or wait a few days for something to come.
For Winnie, that distance really matters. She has a medical condition that means she has to constantly monitor her blood sugar.
I'll describe it as just like if my sugars go low, there's some possible risks that could happen. I might have to get rushed to the hospital if they're like really, really low.
It does get hard in Coonabarabran because not many facilities here that can help her or stuff like that.
It's why she sometimes needs to fly for treatment.
My job entails flying sick kids to and from hospital visits from towns in outback New South Wales to the larger hospitals in Sydney and Newcastle.
Glenn is a volunteer pilot for Little Wings, a charity that's been helping Winnie for a long time.
I feel like I've flied pretty, like, a lot of times because I've been flying with them since I was like 3, I think. They have like tiny teddies in there and I eat them because I'm hungry.
If you live in the larger cities, access to medical facilities is taken as granted, but if you're out in the bush, that's not quite so easy. And for people with serious medical issues, the only way they can reach treatment is to travel a long way. That's where we help.
People should be able to get the treatment they need, when they need it, and how much they need, because I suppose everyone has the right to it and deserves it, no matter who they are.
The other kids with something like my condition, I just want to tell them, like, never give up and you can be whatever you want to be and Little Wings can help you no matter what. And yeah.
Well, that's all we've got for you today, but we'll be back next week with more. If you can't wait until then, you can head to our website. There's plenty to see and do there. You can also catch Newsbreak every weeknight. Have an awesome week, and I'll see you next time. Bye!